you, Lisa Brooks. All righty, let's get Tom. Tom back, by the way. I mean, I know that it's been a holiday. It's a day off.
Yes, he's returned.
Hey, how did we all spend our holiday yesterday? Who's your favorite president?
We went in depth on how George Washington died.
Oh, is that right? How did he die?
It was painful.
It was harrowing, yeah.
80 ounces of blood out of him.
Oh, my God.
We spent a lot of time trying to figure out if his fingers dropping off his hands was a metaphor or literal, and we decided it wasn't.
Well, was Felix your guest host yesterday?
No, we just were filling
You did
time.
history with...
Somebody wrote in. We had like 6 listeners, and someone wrote in. You told me you would tell me how Washington died. Can you please tell me?
So you made something up. He had
Make
wooden
it up.
teeth.
We read all about it. We even played something from PBS.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed it. Next holiday, President's Day, I'll be here.
By the way, I just said to Sean at one point,
Yeah.
could you look any more bored? And he said, I don't think so. And then somebody wrote in from the 206, Sean DeTort, a bored op, B-O-R-E-D, op.
Oh,
that's just some of the fun that you missed.
That's kind of wordplay you get on a holiday.
There we go. That's what it's talking about. It was fun. And then we had Hannah was down at the big Bernie rally. She was there before everybody rolled in. 17,000 people were there at the big Tacoma Dome. The Tacoma Dome is the largest wooden structure, I think, in the United States. Look that one up.
I can't imagine that's true.
Maybe the largest wooden roof.
In Tacoma?
In Tacoma. Right off of I-5. Check it out. Here is everybody's favorite socialist who wants people to take over Boeing. This is Shama Sawant.
The establishment will pull out
Wow. Sean, can we do anything about that? Overmodulated.
It sounds like that's the way it was recorded, so...
Can you find some pleasant music to play underneath it? Just something light and airy. Just look under light, airy, and while you're doing that,
Sure.
Jacob's going to tell us the response to the size of the Tacoma Dome being the largest wooden structure in the United States.
I'm still trying to find it. It is not. It's certainly not the largest wooden structure in the United States. I don't know what the real
I
fact.
could have told you that.
What is the largest wooden structure in the United States, if not the Tacoma Dome? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a homer.
It's the Tillamook, Oregon Air Museum,
Oh,
Yeah, for starters.
world's largest wooden structure.
as of 2017, sneaking in there, just trying to get him by a little foot or something. You ready? Think this will help?
Yes.
Let me know.
On 3, 2...
The establishment will pull out all the stops against Bernie also. The establishment has proven that they would prefer billionaire Mike Bloomberg, as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said last month. In any other country, Joe Biden and I would not be in the same party. So, we need to elect Bernie, and we need a new party of, by, and for working people.
Nice. Thank you. That did help.
Yeah, it was like Days of Our Lives or something.
I didn't hear a word she said. It's the same sort of screaming stuff she's doing.
Well, interestingly enough, she is not doing Bernie any favors
Oh, why
by sort of taking on the Democratic Party. Right now, her man is running to be the nominee of the Democratic Party, and if she blasts the Democratic Party, that's going to kind of hurt his momentum. My guess is he would just as soon she kind of chill out on that complaint.
What's the Democratic Party going to do about it? What's
in-
the Democratic Party going to do about it?
Well,
He's got
I mean-
30, he has 25 to 30%. He takes that big block of people with him everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
What's the Democratic Party going to do about it?
Well, the Democratic Party might not come to his defense or support.
I mean,
If
will
he-
they rig it?
Last election, people like me who might be willing to vote for Bernie Sanders if he was the nominee, but would be a little chary about endorsing him at this point if she's claiming that in any other country, Shama Sawant, would not be in the same party as Biden. As Joe Biden, that we need a new party for the working. Well, that's fine if she wants to create a new party, but right now he's trying to get the mantle of a party that now exists. So it's an interesting rhetorical strategy. I'm sure she's a true believer, Shamasawan, and she believes in the socialist cause. He calls himself a democratic socialist,
Right.
and he works with the Democrats. He convenes with the Democrats. So I don't know that that's going to help him that much.
Well, first of all, he's pulling the party over to him. What is the party? Is the party now
Well,
Bernie?
maybe.
If the
Not yet.
party supports Medicare for all, if the party supports the Green New Deal, if the party, represented by the people, that's like you always say to me. Well, Donald Trump's got bought and sold. That is the Republicans.
That's
the Republicans all in.
right. And the question is, can Bernie Sanders do to the Democrats what Donald Trump did to the Republicans by making the mainstream sell out to him because he was victorious? And that's one of the things that makes a lot of Democrats nervous is he basically the Democrats' response to Donald Trump, or is he our Jeremy Corbyn, the head of the Labor Party in
got their head
Britain
handed to
that
them, right?
that got destroyed.
So
by
Bernie brings them all out.
Boris Johnson.
Tim Robbins, he crawled through a half a mile of the world's worst smelling stuff.
Are you willing?
Wow, he's overmodulated. Who was in charge of the sound down there? Come on now, people. Thank you very much.
Well, you know,
Sean.
when you're in the largest wooden structure outside of this museum that Jacob found,
hold on.
it's maybe hard to get good mic work.
By the way, isn't it it's got something that's the largest wood?
The Tacoma Dome is one of the largest wood domed structures in the world.
There we go. Bang, I'll take it.
One of them. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
right. That's close enough
Here
in
we go.
John's world.
By the way, what we do is I'm going to pause, and we're going to bring the volume up on the music just to add more nuance. Okay, this is Tim Robbins overmodulated. Here we go.
Are you willing to fight for that person who you don't even know as much as you're willing to fight for yourself? I'm supporting Bernie Sanders for president because I believe when he says, not me, us, he means it.
That's right. There it is. That's socialism.
Not me,
Not
us.
me. Not me as an individual, but us. All of us collectively working together
He
for
should
the
have
state.
paused longer then. He's an actor. He should know that. Not me.
Us. For the state, not the individual
Not
rights.
me, us.
Tom, really?
It's his
Shawshank.
delivery.
Really?
Yes. Of all things, I need to coach him.
Okay, hang on then. Hang on. Ready? You coach him.
For yourself. I'm supporting Bernie Sanders for president because I believe when he says, not me,
Yeah. Not me. Us.
us, he means it.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
me, us. He means it.
That's
No,
terrible. That is terrible.
Rhetorically, you gotta.
Will they have fixed the mic by time Bernie gets in? Have the music ready.
This is an unbelievable turnout. Thank you, Tacoma.
A little better.
Whoa.
Well, that's because Bernie always shouts, and so
true.
they
They brought
figured
it
out
down.
the mic distance for him.
I looked up to see. Thank you very much. Sean,
It is
for
an
helping out.
impressive turnout. I mean,
is.
that's the one thing. And I went down to a Bernie rally, when he was running against Hillary down at Seattle Center. And I mean, yeah, it is. He brings the throngs, a lot like Donald Trump.
But they're not happy. I mean, apparently, for people that I've
Oh.
read that have been to it, it's not like a joyful thing. It's like he is just grinding through
He is
one
no-
statistic after. It's a fairly
Okay.
dark presentation of the world.
Well, it's a harangue. You're right. It's a harangue.
Yeah.
But no, the people that were there was all very festive. It felt like a big party. It was overflowing the arena, and then it was all out around the fountain. It was just a
What kind of
packed place.
arena?
It was the Key Arena.
No, it was one of the world's largest wooden structures in the
No,
world.
that was
Here he is
Tacoma.
talking about Bloomberg.
Today we say to those billionaires who are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to support candidates who represent the rich and the powerful. Today we say to Mayor Bloomberg, we are a democracy, not an oligarchy. You're not going to buy this election.
I don't know about that.
I know,
Essex-
but an oligarchy doesn't have an election. They just import.
They bring him in from Russia. Right. Communism and socialism had a chance to go for 63 years. Here's Essex Porter.
Sanders supporters are beyond enthusiastic, but some have been abusive to critics online.
Do you need to do more to address that nasty?
Wow.
We have millions of supporters. I don't want.
By the way, who else asked this question?
Brandy
Brandy
Cruz,
Cruz asked the same one. So
213.
basically, everybody hit him with the same question.
This
any
is
of
the-
my supporters. And
Yeah.
it remains to be seen whether they are supporters. By the way, as you know, the internet is a wild west now. Anybody can say anything they want in the name of anybody. But let me be very clear. I do not want anybody who claims to be a supporter of Bernie Sanders to be making ugly and vicious personal attacks against anybody.
Okay.
That was good. Did you see the Saturday Night Live bit? I think it was 2 weeks ago where Larry David, as Bernie Sanders, going on, yeah, so do I have Bernie Bros
Could
out
I stop
there?
him?
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah.
Am I
Should
popular in
I
4chan?
stop him? Yeah. Will I?
Right. They beat people up, or they say nasty things, or they go after people.
Rhetorically. They don't. There's no evidence of literally beating him up.
Yeah, there is. I just watched a video of it. But then there's the guy.
What?
You want to see it?
The Bernie Bros online?
Yeah, beating this guy up at a rally. But the other one was the guy that was working on the campaign that said, "Oh yeah, we're going to get people, and if you're not with us, we're going to start slashing." I mean, he was saying it because he knew he was on. He didn't know he was on camera, but he was all this sort of puffing up. I looked up to see what it would cost the medium income, like middle income individual, right, to support Bernie's ideas.
Okay,
it's not that much. You don't really have to pay that much. In order if you're medium income, for health care for all, or at least the idea that you have coverage, doesn't mean you have availability, but you'd have coverage. It's 8.4% increase for your insurance. 6.2% would be paid by the employer. 2.2% would be paid by the employee. Altogether, and then there's an increase in Social Security. There's an increase in a few other things. Altogether, the additional cost is less than like $5,000 to the average medium income. It's even less than that. It's about $4,600 for the medium income. So those people there.
To get all of that?
To get everything. To get the health care, to get more money, minimum wage, free college. There's no such thing as free anyway. But the idea.
Up.
Yeah. So, like, why wouldn't you sign up for that? But the people above it, holy moly. So I ran my numbers. Oh, my God.
Well, we're the ones we're after.
Yeah. Additional cost for me for medical would be $15,753.
Which is a drop in the bucket to your lifestyle.
Well, why are you taking more money out of my bucket? Because then for Social Security.
For the good of society.
Oh, that's right. Because it's not me, it's us. So then I'm working for everybody else. Yeah. Then
you still get to keep 85% of it.
$93,000 would come out additional of my Social Security. That would be the increase in there. And altogether, when it comes to capital gains and then also personal income tax, I'd be at 53%. So altogether, I'd be paying more. I'd probably around 70% of my income. But it is an interesting idea. Going back to the idea of not me, us. The idea is that, no, it is me. The reason the whole crazy world of the United States got started and flourished the way it did is because it really was an individual idea that you yourself had the right, you as an individual, the right to pursue life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. You as an individual, you can do these. You can make these choices on yourself. Bernie's saying that's not fair. It's not right because it's not equitable. That's right. It's not equitable because you have more brains than I have. Well, that's not equitable. But unfortunately, he wants to come in as us.
It's not
and listen,
brains.
all of us together can be that much stronger. But it reduces the individual to nothing more than a cog in the system to support what? The state.
John.
And once the state, let me finish, Tom, then you can say what you want to say. Then once the state has the power, we all work towards the state. The state gives us our rights. No, the inalienable rights given to us as an individual, Bernie. Don't take my money and tell me that for some reason I have enough, depending by you, how much I need. The state then determines my needs. That's wrong, Tom, as an individual. That's a direct affront upon the United States as what it was based on, which is the individual.
Oh, we are a United States of America. And to be the United States, we took 13 very different communities and economies, and we made all sorts of compromises to work better. Because as a whole, we realized that we worked better than individually. If we were 13 individual countries, we could never do what we could do as a whole.
That's the structure.
That's right.
That's the
and
state
so
structure.
that's what we're after in this particular case, is what is good for the general good, what is good for the most of the country. And that's why we have things like democracy, where we vote on things to determine. We have representative democracy that determines what do we as a people want.
As an individual, though. The difference is this.
Yeah,
we're talking about
individually choose that.
You're talking about the structure of the government. Yes. Each one of these states,
It's not
or
just
unum, or all in it.
individual,
But the difference is this. You cannot eradicate the individual. To the individual becomes only what the government wants the individual to become.
Eradicating.
You are. Bernie's saying it's, and I mean, sorry, Mr. Tim Robbins, it's not me. I'm not important. It's us. It's all of us collected together by the government to work towards what? The government.
Not
to create
even
more
the government. You
equality.
don't even need the government. The idea is we are working together as us. What do we want as a democracy? And that's why we have an election.
Right.
And whoever wins the election gets the next 4 years or 8 years. It's a choice that we are making. So it's not like someone's taking our rights away from us. We are giving up. If you're willing to be taxed, are you ever willing to be taxed? Because if you're willing to be taxed, you could say, well, why are you taking more money away from me because I'm richer than somebody they're not taking as much money from? Well, because that graduated income tax idea is what we're all generally in favor of because we are beneficiaries of all of us working together.
No, what it is this. When somebody like Bernie Sanders or you, Tom, say that you have enough. And it's a drop. You've already determined that the amount of money is a drop. Now you've given it a value, which is a drop or a cup or a full cup, half cup, 64 ounces. You've determined, well, that's a drop in a bucket. And the bucket itself, Tom, you regard my work as what you determine is how much I am worth and how much you do it all the time to me. Well, you have enough. You've got enough. You don't need that. Other people don't have as much as you. Well, that is true. And you will never, ever be able to form a society where there is such thing as equity because God hands out brains and hands out skills at different levels. So the government cannot create equality. All the government can do is create a balanced playing field that lets everybody go out on the field.
Which is all
but
I
once
think
you
Bernie
determine
is
my
after.
value, how much money I make.
Bernie is after. John, the idea is that you can still make as much money you want.
Communist, Tom.
Well, he's a socialist. He's not a communist. But
yes,
so
he
what?
Is.
What Bernie is after is this ideal world in which we all start at the equal starting place.
And tell me how much money I should make. Bernie Sanders, you can play Bernie Sanders. How much money should I have?
No, it's what percentage.
I'll tell you how much money
if
I
we
make
determine
a year,
that you
and you tell me how much I'm allowed to keep.
You're allowed to keep whatever society in general decides on, which is what percent of the profits are you allowed to keep as opposed to turn back into society. And that's what we all pay. We all pay taxes.
Yeah.
And we all pay our fair share. And when the rich get hit harder, they're the ones that yelp most. But they've benefited from all the advantages that are unfair or not that they started out with.
I started out with more advantages?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I failed fourth grade twice. I didn't go to college.
I know.
I failed every single class I took, Tom.
But you're
Hold
white
on a second.
and
You tell me
rich.
the advantages. How did I become rich?
You came from rich stock.
That meant nothing, Tom, because
Okay.
you know right now
Don't
my
get mad,
father
John.
gave me crap.
Yes.
Nothing. I work my ass off for every single dollar
And
I
imagine-
earn, and you feel as if I don't deserve the money I have.
That's not true.
You've already
but
said
you
it.
deserve
You've
to
said
pay
it.
the taxes on the money that you make.
To redistribute to others, Tom.
Yes. Only some of it, John. A
No,
portion
not
of it.
some
not
of it.
very
70% by
much.
the time Bernie gets through with it. Tracy
Wow.
Taylor, get us through the rest of this traffic.
Can I hug you both?
Yes.
You can hug me.
We
but
need
hug
some
me.
of that.
Don't hug me as long because I don't deserve it like Tom does.
We need some of that tinkly music that we were playing earlier for
Yeah.
Shama Salwa.
Whenever somebody tells me I don't deserve what I have worked for,
And I never-
because I am
And I never
somehow
said that,
privileged.
John.
Yes, you did.
But you're awfully touchy about it, so clearly you feel
I
guilty.
am because not guilty. Guilty of what? Guilty of the fact that you don't recognize that I work like 80 hours a week.
Believe me, I know more than anybody else how much you work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I do too.
You work more than I do.
I don't know about that. I think we're about equal, John.
But probably don't make as much money as John.
You should
Now,
quit and
White
start your
man.
own
really,
job.
guys, doesn't have to go there. Let's hug everybody.
Start
Let's hug
your
it
own
out.
business.
Let's hug it out. Okay, eastbound 520 at 40th. We've got a stall that's blocking the left lane. We're also